Before recovering from having a positive GDP in 2022, the US did experience two consecutively negative quarterly GDP results related mostly to the high price earned from energy exports. There is a very high likelihood that the United States will experience a recession in 2023, regardless of whether experts or the government think we had or are in one now. High interest rates, high bond yields, high inflation, increased layoffs, and declining company sales and earnings cause a recession. Less money available for consumers to spend on their discretionary requirements has a cascading effect on the economy, slowing down the flow of money into areas where it can be spent on things other than necessities like rent, food, and electricity. In today's video, we will talk about surviving the 2023 recession according to Charlie Munger. Remember to subscribe to our channel. High labor expenses, wholesale costs of goods, material costs, and energy bills significantly reduce corporate profit margins, leaving little money for capital expenditures for facility and equipment upgrades and business expansion. Along with the historical GDP and job figures, which also give us a high possibility of a recession, these are all significant economic reasons weighing heavily on the country. People should consider an inflationary climate while investing because this high probability recession is likely to happen while the consequences of inflation are still being felt. CNBC interviewer once asked him, "How will this all play out, and what's the best advice you have for individual investors to optimally deal with the negative impact of inflation, other than owning quality equities?" Charlie Munger responded by saying, "It may be that you have to choose the least bad of a bunch of options that frequently happens in human decision-making." The Mungers have Berkshire stock, Costco stock, Chinese stocks, a little daily journal stock, and apartment houses. Do I think that's perfect? No. Do I think it's okay? Yes. The great lesson from the Mungers is you don't need all this damn diversification. You're lucky if you've got good 4 assets. If you're trying to do better than average, you're lucky if you have 4 things to buy. To ask for 20 is an egg in your beer. Very few people can have enough brains to get 20 good investments. Munger recommends putting all your money into a select handful of your greatest investment concepts. He constructs his investments with everything in mind from the beginning rather than waiting for macroeconomic conditions to change before reallocating his cash. His little portfolio is well positioned for inflation, a downturn, and a strong economy. Consumer staples like food and cleaning supplies, think of what you might find in a typical grocery store, sell best when the economy is down. People prioritize necessities like food, shelter, transportation, utilities, and insurance during a recession or periods of high inflation, leaving less money for larger discretionary expenditures like appliances, new vehicles, or home improvements. Additionally, fewer people are eating out, and many are buying groceries and cooking at home. The bigger issue arises when stagflation results from excessive inflation in an economy experiencing a downturn. The worst-case scenario occurs when persistently high inflation, high unemployment, and stagnant demand affect a nation's economy. Company revenues are declining, but their costs are rising, eroding even supermarket and dollar stores' meager profit margins due to increased labor costs and the cost of goods at wholesale. Charlie Munger's portfolio includes companies that can endure several of these pressures. With some price power, Berkshire Hathaway owns numerous businesses selling products consumers frequently need. Insurance is Berkshire's largest major industry, and it is recession-proof since consumers must maintain their insurance regardless of broader economic conditions. In times of economic downturn, Berkshire also uses the cash flow from its insurance operations to raise money to purchase value stocks or even entire companies. With Warren Buffett, the corporation has the best stock picker in history. Costco sells many goods at the lowest possible cost, making it a recession-proof company. Most of their revenue comes from membership fees, and they want to break even with their retail business. They do possess the ability to change their membership costs as necessary. His Chinese equities are an investment in China's rapidly expanding economy. They were performing well before the pandemic, and political tensions with the United States escalated. His apartment buildings are a solid inflation hedge because real estate assets typically increase in value, or at the very least, maintain a level of value with inflation. Apartment rentals are beneficial during a recession because people still need to reside somewhere and make rent payments. His ownership of newspapers could constitute a legacy holding. In 2022, this was a horrible business strategy. In the near term, 3 out of 5 excellent investments are okay, and because he played the long game, he is now a billionaire. Investors would be well to take note of his success-oriented ideals. Well, after the 70s, Volcker took the prime rate to 20% and the government paid 15% on its government bonds. That was a horrible recession. It lasted a long time and caused a lot of anger and agony. And I certainly hope we're not going to go there again. I think the conditions that allowed Volcker to do that without any interference from the politicians were very unusual. And I think in 2020 hindsight, it was a good thing that he did it. I would not predict that our modern politicians will be as willing to permit a new Volcker to get that tough with the economy and bring on that kind of recession. So I think the new troubles will likely differ from the old ones. You may wish you had a Volcker-style recession instead of what you're going to get. The troubles that come to us could be worse than what Volcker was dealing with and harder to fix. Charlie Munger. Munger worries whether there will be enough long-term political support for the Federal Reserve to implement the necessary changes to monetary policy to reduce inflation. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders have already criticized Fed Chairman Powell for the financial hardship his rapid and significant interest rate increases are causing consumers. To assist in controlling inflation, Powell is publicly stating that he wants to see the asset bubble in real estate and stocks burst along with the rise in unemployment. One of the great thinkers of the 20th century is Charlie Munger. Here is an attempt to condense that knowledge into one easily shared location. Longtime Pasadena, California resident Charlie Munger is best known as the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway Inc., the largest compound interest machine in the world. When he and Warren Buffett were in charge of Berkshire, the company's return on investment was about 20,000 to 1, or about 2 million%. This was accomplished in the adult lives of 2 individuals by merely investing the company's cash in a rising number of profitable businesses while refraining from risky levels of borrowing. It is a timeless tale. Charlie is renowned for his fluid, versatile intellect and role as co-headlining the Berkshire Affair and various other commercial and humanitarian endeavors. Munger, who received training as a meteorologist during World War II and as a lawyer at Harvard, before focusing on business, has heavily incorporated the study of psychology, economics, physics, biology, and history into the creation of his multiple mental models approach to solving challenging issues in complex social systems. It is an innovative system. He thus has unique, uncommon, and consistently accurate business and life insights. Given their foundation in the incredibly basic wisdom of the world, speeches and writings from long ago still make sense and hold up to scrutiny. Though adopting the Munger way of thinking is challenging, as is trying to think like any genius, doing so will help you start clearing your head of mental fog very quickly. In response to a question about his formula for success, Munger once said, "I'm sensible." That's all for this video. We'll be back with another informative video soon. Remember to like and share this video. Until next time.